guys, this is Consulting Detective on the Run. This is my fan video. Yes, hello. Sherlock Holmes, Consulting Detective. Currently on the run. Ah, there we are. Or rather, hiding in Selfie's house. I've dealt with worse, I'm sure. Anyway, Selfie, my blogger will continue now. Okay, so I'm Selfie, and this is Sherlock. Yeah, that's most definitely Sherlock. So I live in Nephi, Utah. It's kind of small, central Utah. It's kind of dull and boring here. Nothing ever exciting happens here. No real like entertaining crimes or anything. But Sherlock's hiding out here with me in central Utah. Why, do you ask? Well, because it is dull and boring, and because no one's going to look for him here. Because it's Utah. There's nothing ever cool here. Why would he come to Utah? Yeah, so that's why he's here, hiding, not wanting to get dressed. Hooray. Anyway. Yes, well, why, you may ask? Well, because it's boring. No one will find me here. I'm sure no one at all even thinks to find anything interesting in Utah at all. Considering... Oh, yes, well, I'm getting the signal I'm being rude again. Apologies. We are at currently 48 followers, which was actually kind of amazing. I was actually at 24 when I posted that I needed more followers, and suddenly... Consulting Criminal to Be makes this post, and I have a ton of followers. So this is brilliant. This is great. I want to thank all of you for following me. I honestly, I didn't think I was going to get more than like 20 followers, because it's like the most followers I've ever had. So 48 is just brilliant. I'm amazed, honestly. It's not amazing, honestly. People read my blog all the time, you know. They do. It's just not about what's entertaining. Why do you find 48 followers to be amazing? Honestly, Selfie. It's about me and what I'm doing on cases. Logic dictates that... Oh, never mind. So, you guys sent me some asks, and some of them are, you know, really cool, and, well, actually, they're all really cool. But I added in a few other questions that I thought, hey, I bet you guys want to know. So, this is going to be a video of me and, well, Sherlock, if he's going to behave himself. Haha. You going to behave yourself? Am I going to behave? I got dressed, didn't I? See? See? I got dressed. I was going to be in a sheet, but Selfie decided that that wasn't acceptable. I don't leave the house unless it's above a 7 on a case, and I don't usually get dressed if it's below a 5. This is a fan video. It's seriously below a 2. I don't even know if it hits the scale, Selfie, honestly. Honestly. Really? Yes, really. It's boring. I'm bored. It's obvious, isn't it? Okay, well, we'll see. We'll see. Alright, so, first question I figured you guys would want to know is, like, how did I even start this blog? Like, why? Why suddenly is there a Sherlock Holmes on the Run blog? Well, funny story, I follow the Journal of Sebastian Morin a lot, and, so I've been reading their stuff a lot, and just kind of like, you know, not posting, not telling them that I exist or anything. I'm shy. You'll learn that I'm shy. Most definitely. She is definitely shy, though she seems to have no reason to be. Shut up, Sherlock. Yeah. Anyway. Oh, of course you don't like my opinion. Of course. Typical. And they posted up this random little out-of-character post that they really thought it would be fun to roleplay out something. They weren't sure what. With a Sherlock, and suddenly I find myself actually sending them an ask going, hey, I could make a Sherlock blog, wouldn't that be cool? And then, like, what did you want to do? And I was actually kind of surprised. I kind of came out of my bubble and actually sent them an ask, because I was worried. And so they were all excited, and I got even more excited, so I made a blog and figured, hey, you know, let's cover the 3 years Sherlock's gone. We don't know where he is or what he's doing. You know, I'm sure we all have theories. Theories are good. But this is like what my Sherlock's doing in my head. So, yeah. Sherlock, do you want to talk about why we have a blog? Why we have a blog? I already had one, honestly. You have this blog, Selfie. I am merely featured in it to give my expertise to your cause, whatever that might be. Doesn't matter. I believe the last time you mentioned something about beating boredom or hiding from the reality that displeases you, wasn't it? I hardly think that qualifies you to run a blog about me, but John's rather got popular for about the same thing, I suppose. Or not. Okay. I got a question from that army doctor. He's the John Watson I currently roleplay with. If you are John Watson out there, please follow me and we will roleplay, because I like to roleplay with more than one of the same character, so it's all good. But that army doctor asked me, so why did you choose Sherlock, and what's your opinion of his relation with John? So that's a good thing. Honestly, I hadn't thought about doing Sherlock, honestly, because Sherlock's complicated. He really is. When you really try and think about, you know, what does Sherlock do, he's complicated. He's very complex, and being able to keep up with, you know, how he has to do deductions and things, yeah, it can be complicated. But I didn't really think about it until the Journal of Sebastian Warren posted up, hey, I'd love to do something with Sherlock sometime, and then I'm like, oh, I could do that. Honestly, if I was going to pick a Sherlock character, I'm more of a Molly. You know, brown hair, kind of shy and boring. But she's got her own brilliance, you know, like the little hidden brilliance. Don't mind me, I've got a kitten. Again, Molly. Yeah, so, yeah, I really saw myself as a Molly and ended up a Sherlock. I don't know. I think Sherlock and I have a lot in common, honestly. I didn't notice it until I was role-playing him. My brain's always raging with ideas, and it's just always out of control. There's always like 5 million things going through my head. I always need a constant distraction. As I'm sure some of you have noticed, it's like, I'll put all 50 of my role plays, someone role play with me, you know. Yeah, I get bored really, really quick, even if I've been doing a lot of activity. I'm a bit, well, my friends tell me I'm twitchy, because I fidget a lot. Yeah, I kind of fidget a lot. So, I have a mind palace in my head, which I've actually, before the series even started and explained what a mind palace was, I had one. I just didn't know what it was. So, yeah, it's kind of interesting. I'm really good at observing details that most people don't notice and don't pay attention to, but, like, that most people think are just stupid and have nothing to do with it, but they really do. So, I can also get really confused and lost when it comes to social rules and things. So I kind of come off rude, just because I don't know what people are expecting me to do. So I just do things. Yeah, sometimes I'm kind of unnerve people because I'm just me, and you know. So yeah, I like a good challenge. Sherlock's a good challenge. He makes me stretch. He makes me think harder. It makes it, you know, interesting. I like the challenge that he's essentially good, but he has that dark side. That kind of, he's on the side of angels, but he's not one of them, and that's just brilliant. So yeah, lots of reasons why I like being Sherlock, but wasn't really going to pick Sherlock if I had actually like just picked one. So relationship with John, yeah. I'm sure you're all waiting for me to be all Johnlock and romantic and oh my gosh, you know. No, just kind of no. To me, Sherlock and John's relationship is something that really, it can't be explained with words. Like, there's no words in the English language, or probably any language anywhere, that really define it properly. You have to be in a relationship like that to really understand, and it's really complex because, I mean, we're talking about two very complex individuals. I mean, John, you know, you might think he's kind of simple. He's just the doctor, and he's got, you know, he's been in the army. He's not simple. John is very complex in and of himself, and we'll talk about that in another video, probably. But Sherlock's very complex. We all know this. We stare at Sherlock and, what? You know? So it's almost like they complete each other. Like there's these voids inside every person. Like, there's these spaces that need filling in. And somehow when they put themselves together, like, just as a team, they, like, fill each other's voids in a way that, as a singular person, they just, there's no way they could have done it. There's just not. It's a really special kind of love and friendship that they have, and it's just, I don't know, it's hard to explain. I think the best way to explain it is not to cross fandoms, but yeah, we're gonna cross fandoms. It's like in Red El Dorado, okay? So you have Miguel and Tulio and Miguel, and they're inseparable. Like, no matter what. They just, even when they're mad at each other, they stick by each other. It's, like, cool. So at one point, they're in the little rowboat, and, you know, they've been out there for, you know, days and days, and they think they're gonna die. And they're just like, oh my gosh, you have any regrets? And Tulio's like, well, I regret that, you know, we were gonna have all that gold. And Miguel's like, you know, we went on this adventure, and we never really got to have the adventure before we're, you know, gonna die here. And Miguel looks at Tulio and goes, well, if it's any consolation, you made my life rich. And Tulio looks at Miguel and says, well, if it's any consolation, you made my life an adventure. And it's like that. It's almost like that. Sherlock gives John the adventures and the action that he needs to survive and thrive, and to really be that man of action from the army. Okay, and John gives Sherlock that much-needed audience and positive attention that he needs to feel like he's not a freak all the time. That he actually has something to contribute. And basically, as long as John always believes in Sherlock, Sherlock doesn't care what other people think or say about him. That's why in the Reichenbach Fall, you see that he's like, well, why would you care what people say about me? Because Sherlock doesn't care. As long as John gets him and understands him and likes him, we're good. Doesn't matter. And as long as Sherlock is always presenting John with the running abouts and the adventures, John doesn't feel useless and sort of abandoned in the corner of the world. So, could it evolve into a romantic relationship? Yeah, most definitely. But at this point, my Sherlock doesn't understand enough about love to really make that jump. Okay? I mean, he feels it. He knows it's an emotion, but, like, yeah, he just, there's this important element of knowing what to do about it, and what you do when you're in love that's missing. And so he's got love down. You can see that in the Reichenbach Fall, where he's, you know, he loves John, and he loves Mrs. Hudson and Lestrade so much that he'll give up anything, you know, including himself, just to make sure they're okay. He's got love down. it's just, I don't think he has a handle on romantic love yet. So, we'll see how that develops. Sherlock, do you want to comment here? Yeah, over there. No. No, not really, except to say that John Watson is my best and only friend. He may not be the most clever person in all of London, but there's something about John Watson that I need when I work. I'm not sure what it is, but during 3 years of running, I could feel the void spaces, was it? That's what Selphie mentioned before. That's all. Okay. Alright, I had an anon. I actually had several anon questions. That's cool. That's great. So one of the anons asked me, what dream roleplay do you have for this muse? Ooh. Shouldn't have asked me that. Because I have lots. It's a bad habit. I have lots of ideas. I actually have two of them. They're kind of complex. But bear with me while I try and explain these. And remember, they're dreams, so if they never happen, I won't die, I promise. I will keep blogging. I will not leave you. So the first one, it's not quite so elaborate as it is kind of hard to plot and find someone that would want to do it. I have this thought in my mind that after Sherlock and John have been through all that they have been through over the 2 seasons, they sort of have this attachment to each other, and then suddenly they're separated from each other, and that doesn't go over well. And so I have this thing in my head that they sort of have these delusions of each other while they aren't there for real for each other. So I'd like to do roleplay with a John Watson. Okay, so all you John Watsons out there, be listening. Player that's sort of a depiction of what that's like. So, like, I as real Sherlock would post up what I was doing for some kind of thing in a day, and either Sherlock would start randomly talking to John out of habit and then turn to see him standing there as a delusion, or just turn around and see John, you know, as he was just going about doing something. Then the John player would post what Delusion John says, you know, Delusion John, okay, says in reaction to Sherlock, and then posts what real John is doing when he sees Sherlock as a delusion. And then I, as Sherlock, would react to Delusion John, because all of a sudden Delusion John is speaking at me. Oh no. And then I would, the real Sherlock, you know, would react to that. And then the Delusion Sherlock would react to what poor real John is doing, and it would just continue somewhat like that. And I think that would be something interesting to explore, just because, yeah, it just, I've always wondered, you know, it's a little thing in the back of your head, you just, it nags at you. It's like, what would that be like? So, that same kind of idea would work really well, too, with a Moriarty and a Sherlock. I would totally be interested in any Moriarty that wants to roleplay that out. Totally we could do that. I like the idea of, like, Delusion Sherlock and Delusion, you know, either John or Moriarty, or, you know, maybe even a Sebastian. I mean, you know, maybe Sherlock's been chased by Sebastian so much, now he's got delusions of Sebastian chasing him, even when Sebastian's not standing there. I don't know, we could play with that. That would be fun. I'm willing to explore that. Anyone that's interested, send an ask. I have an ask box. It's empty, rather, right now. But I have an ask box. So, send me stuff, okay? Because I would love to explore the whole, like, delusion world of Sherlock Holmes and another character. That'd be brilliant. So, yeah. Sherlock, do you have any opinion on, like, the whole delusional thing, maybe? I don't know. This may not go well. I said I don't have them. I don't understand why you keep on insisting. It was only one time here at your house, and I was half asleep after not sleeping for a few days. We've been over this, Selphie. We have. The second one isn't so much tedious as the first one is, but it's kind of complex, is what it is. I want to make an episode of Sherlock. That's what I want to do. Like the returning episode or some other grand adventure when Sherlock's back. So, for this, everybody be listening, I would need the following. I would need a Jim Moriarty. Yes. I would need a Sebastian Moran. I would need an Irene Adler. I would need Mycroft Holmes. You can't do it without the brother, you know. Possibly an Anthea, because Mycroft has to have his little kind of go-to person. I would need a John Watson. It wouldn't be the same without a John Watson. A Mrs. Hudson, a Greg Lestrade, possibly an Anderson and a Donovan. We could do without them, but you know, it'd be fun. And I have to have a Molly, because Molly is his contact while he's gone. So we have to have Molly. And so what we would do is we would design a plot, hopefully based around some kind of canon Sherlock story, because I study those. Yeah, I'm kind of turning into a overall Sherlock fangirl. And you know, bits thrown in from others for fun and flash, and just, you know, kind of like Moffat and Gratis do. It's really cool. And then we would all roleplay together, each person coming in at their section of the plot to roleplay out what their character's gonna do. So we wouldn't plan out, like, you know, what your character's gonna say and, like, everything they do, because, you know, they've got a spontaneity. It's good. And so this would be a Skype project for sure. Like, we'd have to have this great big room and this great big out-of-character room to do this in. But then, you know, post it on Tumblr when it's all done. And it would be just, it would be so brilliant. So that's my big wishes on my Christmas list. Okay, so you know what to give me. Those are the dream role plays. So then I got another non-question, which is, who is someone you want to role play with? And, goodness, there are so many. And I'm not sure if you mean characters or actual blogs. I've seen on Tumblr, but I'm going to answer both ways so that, you know, we just cover the whole topic. So, yeah, so characters I'd like to roleplay with, and I don't care who does this. I really don't care. Or if there's more than one of you, that would be brilliant. I would love that. I love lots and lots of roleplays. The more the merrier. Okay? So no worries. I'd love to do a Mycroft. I've just started a Mycroft with Domesticroft, which is great. But yeah, if there's another Mycroft out there that wants to do this, is great. So I have this idea in my head, and it's sort of from this song called Permanent by David Cook. And that no matter what, under all the snippetiness and the snark that we see between these two, that they really are brothers, and they're always there for each other. No matter what. They're just, that's like this loyalty, this brother's loyalty. And you see that a little bit in the BBC Sherlock Scandal in Belgravia episode where they're in that hallway and Mycroft gives Sherlock that smoke. And all the pretenses fall away. I mean, because they're not there to impress anyone. It's just him and Mycroft, and they're just brothers at that point. They are just who they are. And yeah, I kind of want to explore this a bit, and starting when like in my head canon, Mycroft spots Sherlock on a German CCTV and pulls him in after 2 years of running, 2 years of Mycroft thinking he's dead. And then suddenly, you know, now there's this whole year, that third year, where Mycroft's, you know, kind of interfering and telling Sherlock, oh, you need to do it this way, you need to do this rule, and you're not following what I told you, and, you know, the brothers thing, you know. So, any other Mycrofts? I would love it if there were some takers. That'd be brilliant. And so the next character, I need a Molly. Is anyone out there ready for a Molly Hooper? Because, oh my gosh, I can't emphasize this enough. I would love to do a Molly and Sherlock roleplay where he's on the run and they sort of stay in touch through text and messenger and such. And also, she would be perfect at keeping an eye on Mrs. Hudson and John and Lestrade, just to kind of you know, keep track of them for Sherlock while he's away. And periodically, I see her needing to do various things for Sherlock, you know, find materials and things for him, or run tests, or, you know, I need you to get this to John. I need you to get this from 221B Baker Street. I need you to find this file that's in Lestrade's desk. I know he always keeps it in his desk, you know, kind of thing. Overall, I see Molly as one of those things that really keeps Sherlock sane while he's away from everything. And kind of gives him that inner, you gotta keep going, you can do this, inner strength thing. I have my headcanon, you can look it up, about the silver metallic memory stick, okay, or flash drive, whatever you want to call it. They call them memory sticks over there. And it's a video Molly made for him. That it's totally Molly at her best, just being herself and rather lovely. And just wonderful. I mean, I that was actually, like, I swear, a stroke of genius that I don't know where it came from. I wouldn't mind an Irene Adler. Yeah, okay. I always thought there was this potential for future adventures there, because, I mean, she's sort of hiding, and so Sherlock now. And so I kind of picture Irene having to help Sherlock for a while, because he's never been on the run. He's never had to hide. He's a showy kind of character. He does not hide, okay? And you know, so kind of helped him fake his death somewhat. You know, I mean, Molly, I think, did most of it, but I feel like Irene helped. And honestly, I think she kind of owes him. You know, I mean, he really kind of saved her there at the end. So she kind of owes him, and he at this point on the run, he's going to be calling in favors from whomever he has favors from. And so I can see this, like, I don't know, this, like, playful banter between the two of them, and possibly working together towards taking Moriarty's web down. Or, you know, because maybe they're after Irene too. Oh, maybe they're after her too. You never know. Or maybe she's playing double agent. She could be playing double agent. And Sherlock wouldn't know it, because he just, naive, cute little thing that he is. Naive, is it? Naive, is that what you're calling it now, Selfie? Are you really? Really? Shall we talk about some of the misfortunes due to naivety that you've had? Shall I go into the... Oh, okay, yeah. Anyway, I think having Lestrade would be awesome. I'm thinking 3 years running, Sherlock keeps sending, like, all these little tips to the tip line and things to kind of help Lestrade on cases. And Lestrade's like, I don't know where these are coming from, but oh gosh, they sound like Sherlock and they're just what I need. Oh, it would be so brilliant if it was Sherlock, you know, kind of thing. And I have this headcanon that I saw this one Lestrade have. It was a gift set where Lestrade, he goes to text Sherlock, and he's standing there, and there's Anderson, and it's after the fall, and he goes to text Sherlock, and Anderson goes, but he's dead. And Lestrade stops, and he goes, I know, but he texts him anyway. And I don't know whether it's, like, just a force of habit, or whether he just still, like, there's something in the back of his mind that knows he's still out there. I don't know. But no matter what, I just feel like Lestrade would be texting Sherlock anyway, and then one of these days, either Sherlock responds or shows up on Lestrade's doorstep to help him with some case. But Lestrade has to promise to keep this information that Sherlock's alive from Mrs. Hudson and John and especially Mycroft. You know, we cannot tell Mycroft before that 2-year mark, because, like, anyway, I kind of want Mycroft to suffer. I'm sorry, all you Mycrofts out there. I'm sorry. Sherlock's evil. He is. He's really bad about that. So then they sort of help each other out, you know, and you know, whether, you know, after that case, whether Sherlock moves on and continues running, but now they know each other exists, so now Sherlock can actually text Lestrade what's going on, and Lestrade can get into all the databases he can by actually being a police officer to actually help Sherlock with what he's doing. So that would be cool. Anthea might be interesting. I don't know what kind of plot we could do. Maybe something where Anthea is sent to check on Sherlock, you know, after that 2-year mark, and they both get caught under fire or something and end up going on an adventure. Possibilities are endless there. Could be anything. I really would love to do a cross-fandom roleplay. I'm a bit of a Whovian. Yes, I watch Doctor Who a lot. I think personally the Matt Smith one, the 11th Doctor, would be brilliant. Or the Christopher Eccleston 9th Doctor would be perfect. The 9th and Sherlock have a lot in common, whereas the playfulness but the dark of the 11th might be kind of cool to play around with. Any and all companions would be fine, because, you know, Sherlock's going to be snarky no matter who they are. Any and all companions, yeah, I don't know. I kind of think Amy or Rose would be perfect, actually. I don't know. Just because they're spirited, they'd stand up to Sherlock and kind of tell him to bug off. Even the 10th Doctor, David Tennant, would be awesome, but I think the 10th Doctor and Sherlock would kind of fight more, because you've got that Time Lord Victorious kind of thing going on, and Sherlock's always arrogant. He just is. So that's the main cross-fandom character I'd like to hang out with. So you'd have to watch, you'd have to watch that Sherlock wouldn't try to go back and change history so he could be with John, though, because, yeah, John and him are, you know, he misses him horribly. You'll notice that in a lot of my role plays, that he's always talking about missing John, that missing piece. So, that would be the only issue of a time machine and Sherlock Holmes. I'm always open to more Moriartys to play with. I'd love playing with more Sebastian Morans. I think doing one with an Anderson or Donovan would be interesting. I don't care if the characters are gender bent, honestly. I think that would be brilliant. I think a female Moriarty, a female Moriarty, that would be fun to watch. It'd be like Irene Adler combined with Moriarty. It'd just be, I think that would even be even more scary than some of the Moriartys I've met. So, I'm also interested in role-playing with, like, a female Sebastian Moran. I think that'd be really cool. I'm willing to play AUs if it interests me. I like cross-fandoms. I love original characters. Just bring it on. Anything. Pretty much anything. Alright, particular blogs that I would like to roleplay with. Oh, gosh. Okay, this is the part where I get embarrassed, because there's certain ones I really fangirl over. Bear with me. I would really love to play with the Feral Tigress, who's the female Sebastian Moran. She goes by Sabrina Moran. Oh my gosh, I really adore her rendition of it. It's brilliant, honestly. I don't know, like, she does such a good job. It's really cool and authentic. Like, she's got, like, all the backstory and like, really figured out what makes her character do what they do. It's not just, oh, hey, let's just throw this together. No. It's good. It's really good. I just ended up with a follower called The Littlest Blogger. It's a young John Watson. And you guys have been probably watching me doing the Consulting Criminal to Be in Genius lessons. And that kind of evolved kind of funny. We just started out with a welcome thread, and then suddenly, like, Sherlock's like, oh, I can change Jim when he's little. I can save it, and then I won't have to go through all this. We all know this isn't going to work, but it's funny to watch arrogant Sherlock try and fix this. Yeah. But I was thinking of, like, a sort of Little John, an adult protective Sherlock would be really cute and really interesting. Sherlock would be even more protective of Little John than he is of Little Jim, because he misses his John back home. And he's very protective of John back home. And so suddenly, you know, you've got Little John, and he's kind of vulnerable and stuff because he's a little kid, and so Sherlock's going to be all over that, totally. So that would be really cool. Actually, okay, this is bad. Oh dear. Yeah, my cheeks are burning. I know, I already thought of a title for what that roleplay would be, if we were to do one. Toy soldiers and chemistry sets. I thought that would just be cute and funny. Anyway, I know, I'm crazy. It's okay. So right now, that's kind of my really long, drawn-out wish list, Christmas list. list for role plays, blogs, etc. that I want to play with and have some fun. Send me asks or ask me for Skype, and we'll totally plot if you're interested. I love plotting all the plots. It's great. So please, 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 please. Okay, that's my shameless begging section. That's all you get. Sherlock, is there anybody you wanna roleplay with that you know, you haven't told me about or something? Anything? I don't roleplay, Selfie. You know this. However, if anyone has some decent cases, something I can get my mind into for once, I would love to have work to solve. That would be brilliant, as I've mentioned, Nephi's rather boring. I need the work. Without it, my brain rots away to disuse. So give me things to deduce. Give me a picture of something, a case, a person you want to know about. Anything would be better than what I've got. I shall have Selfie write something up for you immediately after I receive something. Or we can even chat about it, or roleplay out the scenario, if you like. Okay. Another Anon asked me, does anyone you know personally roleplay? Yes! Actually, yes. I know quite a few people. Well, maybe not quite a few. I like to think quite a few is like more than 4. Yeah, so yeah, my husband actually roleplays, though not on Tumblr. He's more of a Skype or tabletop, paper, pencil, D&D kind of person. D&D meaning Dungeons and Dragons. I used to do a lot of tabletop Dungeons and Dragons myself as a teenager, which was my first introduction to how role-playing even worked. Like, I didn't even know role-playing existed until that. So, I have a few other friends that role-play. My one friend, Steve, he does a lot of D&D, and then there's another friend of mine from work, actually. She does, like, the free-flowing role-play. We don't do it on Tumblr. It's more of handwritten, or you just kind of like pass the book back and forth. You know, I write a section and hand it over, and she writes a section. So that's Sarah. I have 3 really good friends that I met on Tumblr originally, but now we know each other really well outside of Tumblr and outside of role-playing too. And that would be Puck, Allison, and Splurge. And they all live back east where I actually grew up. So grand old role-playing life around here. Yeah, just 24/7 role-playing almost. Alright, next question. This is from my friend Allison, actually. She sat there and she's like, oh, I want to give you a question for your blog. Oh, I got this. I'm like, okay. And she's like, what are your feelings towards fictional detectives such as Adrian Monk or Hercule Poirot? Yeah, I can never pronounce it, mainly because I've never actually watched that one. But yeah, I think he's the French kind of Sherlock kind of guy. But I watched Monk. Monk is brilliant. I like watching Monk, and I like how they kind of gave him a disability that makes it so he notices every single little detail. And that actually does happen. I work in a group home for adults with disabilities, and you'd be amazed how people with disabilities are actually brilliant in a different sort of way than what we're used to. So I really like watching Adrian Monk on the TV show. I think, you know, observation is something that's interesting to all of us. We all observe in our own way. Some people can hear things really well. Some people can, you know, it's a sense of smell. And other people, it's spotting all the little details. Other fictional detectives I really like are like on Psych. I really like that one, especially since he's pretending to be a psychic. And yeah, I'm sure for many people, Sherlock seems much like a psychic. I mean, he just really, you know, he comes off that way. He gets something from seemingly nothing. I also watch House. He's kind of the Sherlock of the medical world, you know. So House is pretty cool. And he's got that snarkiness. I mean, he's always snarky, and he doesn't. he doesn't have a Watson that will sit there and hover over him and be nice, be nice, be nice, you know, all the time. So, but yeah, so I really, I think the fictional detectives are good. I watch them to kind of get a feel for that, kind of way really smart, genius people put all their things out there. Because there's a way, there's a method of how they talk when they do it. Elementary's coming out. That should be pretty cool. I've actually watched the pilot. Found it on the internet. Yay, internet. Woohoo. But yeah, so that looks like it's going to be pretty brilliant. Americanized, yes. Definitely not Sherlock BBC. No. But it has its own genius to it, and I enjoyed it from the pilot. So, I think having more than one of those brilliant detectives that take something and get a whole bunch of things out of the seemingly small detail, it's really interesting. And there's real people out there that have to do this. Most of them work for, you know, government agencies and things, because, you know, sometimes you have very little to go on, and you need somebody that can observe those tiny little details. Sherlock, do you want to talk about what you think about the fictional detectives? Maybe? Fictional detectives. Well, considering most people find me to be fictional as well, that's interesting for you to ask me. Well, find it interesting how there are so many variations on the same theme, namely me. It's interesting the new twist one can put on the same idea, without it becoming really essentially new in any way. The wheel turns and nothing ever changes, really. It's just a cycle. I could say more, but I'm getting the signal to keep it short. Overall, the more shows that get people to think, really think, the better. People need to use whatever amount of capacity that their mind holds, or they'll lose it. Hence my problem. So, maybe one day, with enough of these sorts of shows that get people to think, maybe I won't have to do all the work all the time. Doubtful, but possible. Okay, so, another question I got, my friend, yay, this is my gym currently, laced with Semtex. Oh, I have to say, I love the name, just right there, I have to say that. So, the question was, and this was interesting, this is what I'm still like my brain's still going on, what is something about Sherlock that you're passionate about? And she specified the character himself, not the show. Sherlock. I adore Sherlock, honestly. I think he's brilliant. I think he's fantastic. And that he honestly, it's just that nobody sat down and taught him how to feel. It wasn't something that somebody tried to sit down and teach him. And it wasn't something that really was a priority for him, because his brain focuses on so many details about a person, about reading a person, without necessarily relating to them. But I think the main thing I'm really passionate about with Sherlock is that underneath all the snark, underneath all the unfeeling, cold machineness, he's a real person. He really is. He feels. He does feel. It's just he doesn't let that affect him, per se. And when it does, it affects him so drastically, it kind of scares him back from trying to do it again. But, I mean, there are some times, even in Season 1, where you can see that Sherlock's not this cold, unfeeling object. He's not an Auton, he's not a Dalek, okay? He's not. He's not even a Cyberman that you know, they took all the emotions out of. No. He does feel. Perfect example is in The Blind Banker, which I know lots of people don't like that episode, but I do, for the pure purpose as that it shows Sherlock feels, even in season 1. You have the whole experience of, he goes into Sebastian and he's all, this is my friend, John Watson. And Sebastian questions him, he's friend, and John Watson's colleague. And you look at Sherlock, you really have to look at Sherlock, but you can watch that hurt. He finally got to a point where he felt like calling John a friend, an actual friend. And John sort of shot him down. And it hurt. And then you have later on when John's, I've got a date. And Sherlock's like, but I want to go out. I want to go out and have fun. Let's go hang out. Let's go be, you know, friends and do things. And he's like, a date? What do you mean a date? And John goes off on the, you know, when two people who like each other go out and have fun. And Sherlock's like, well, that's what I was saying. You know, we like each other. We're friends, right? Let's go have fun. You know, you and me. We always, we go have fun, right? Right? Kind of thing. And John sits there and shoots him down again, of sitting there and going, no, Sherlock, not exactly. At least, I hope not. You know? And you kind of, it goes back to Sherlock, and you look at him, and he's kind of, oh, alright. And instead of just, you know, letting it get him down, he decides to be sneaky that time, and so they go, oh, well, why don't you take her to the circus? That'll be brilliant, la la la, and gets them tickets, and he's got a ticket too, so he gets to show up and have some fun too. Which leads to a fight, and leads to a bunch of a mess, but... And then again, in that same episode at the end, when Sarah, the doctor who John's on a date with, is tied up, and the thing is, the spear, I call it a spear, is going to be shot at her. And Sherlock's trying to untie her, and he's trying to soothe her. He's actually being rather nice about it, honestly. It's okay, everything's going to be okay. Right here, I've got you. You know, and trying to untie it and trying to, you know, make her feel better. And then, you know, and John ends up having to save the day, which is brilliant. I love it when John saves the day. But, I mean, you can see Sherlock feels. And then we have the classic one in the Great Game. That's like one of my favorite ones to put, is when John steps out from the changing rooms, and you see this look take place on Sherlock. Like, 1 minute he's all cocky and arrogant, now I've got the thing you wanted, now come out and play, la la la, you know, I don't care. And then suddenly John steps out, and for a split second, he thinks, my best friend, my only friend, has been doing this, has been doing all of this, all of these plots and things, and no wonder I didn't see it, because he was right there the whole time, helping me solve it, and things, and it's really upsetting to him, and it's only, I mean, it's less than 30 seconds, probably, but honestly, that one look tells you how much he really cares about John, even at the end of the first season, let alone by the time we get into the middle of the second. So Sherlock feels, he's a real person underneath all of the intelligence and snark and observations and deductions and all these mechanical scientific things. He still feels. He kind of holds it back because, like he said, will me caring save them quicker? Will it? And the answer's no. No, it won't, Sherlock. It won't. And so he tells John that he will continue not to make that mistake then. And it's not that he doesn't want to feel for them. It's not that he doesn't. It's that he doesn't let that control his actions, because he has to be clear-minded and clever to do this. And so that's what I'm passionate the most about, is that he's not a monster. He's not. Everybody likes to think, well, not everyone. Okay, I take that back. Not everyone thinks that, but a lot of people think he's just this mechanical, monstrous machine, and he's really not. He feels, he hurts, he empathizes, he just doesn't let it show. And that's part of the complexity of Sherlock. So yeah, there's what I'm passionate about. The brilliant awesomeness of Sherlock Holmes. Anyway, I hope you all have been enjoying my blog. We're at 48 followers, like I said. It's brilliant. I'm really excited. I can't wait to roleplay with all of you. I can't wait to, write more headcanons and things. Send me asks. Send me things that you want to know about Sherlock, and I'll see if I can't find a headcanon or some little drabble to talk about. Because I love sharing about, like, the Sherlock zits in my head, because everybody that plays Sherlock is a little different. Everybody that plays Moriarty is a little different. I mean, I love sharing about the way I do Sherlock and the way he kind of resides in my head. So, have fun. Keep reading. Tell your friends so that we can have more followers. I'm thinking the next fan video will probably be at 75 followers. That's what I'm gonna say. That's our goal. 75. Okay, we're at 48. So that's what, like 27 more followers. I think if I can honestly get more than 20 in like 3 days, I think we can do 27 in a while. Alright, so keep blogging. And just as a reminder, I will talk to anyone. I will. I don't care what you need. I don't care if you want to go on Anon and talk to me. That's fine. If you need someone to talk to me. That's great, and I will answer. I'm Selfie, the Mun, as we term it, basically the player. I'm the one that plays Sherlock. And you can talk to me about anything you want, and it won't be snarky, and it won't be mean. That's Sherlock. So if I feel like you're asking Sherlock, and specify, that helps too. If you specify you're asking Sherlock to talk to you, be prepared for snark. Be prepared for rudeness, and I can't rein him in all the time. It does not work. But if you need to talk to me, I try to be a nice person. I am a nice person. Everybody tells me I'm such a nice person. So, I'm open. You can tell me anything. It's awesome. So, that said, have fun. Keep blogging, and we'll see you later. Bye. Oh, Sherlock, do you want to say bye? Laters. Well, I mean, good evening. Yes. Yeah, bye.
Sun is filling up the room, and I can hear you dreaming. Do you feel the way I do right now? I wish we would just give up, 'cause the best part is falling. Call it